Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed. She's Becky Alley. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I love this intro, man. Nothing like getting you pumped up on a Saturday morning.
It's sort of that Super Bowl weekend type show. I don't even know if you're used to not be able to say that kind of stuff. Screw them. Whatever. We pay for it, right? We'll give you 1 hour of your man cave show here or your women cage. And because Super Bowl, you got to have a place to watch this thing.
Listen, I got a great woman cave in the basement. It's awesome. I'm excited. I love this. I love football. I like sports. I'm, an athlete myself. So like when this weekend comes around, I'm like, yeah. And then we're rooting for our boy, Matt Stafford. I'm really happy for him.
Not?
It's a good thing.
I'll go for that. 248-539-9797. We take all your calls. And of course, we want to introduce the king, the one and the only Joe Muck.
What's happening, everybody?
Joe Muck.
Thanks for having me here.
Great.
Big game weekend. Harvey, I'm not going to promote the Super Bowl because I don't know if we're allowed to, like you said. But
we won't say it.
Big game, the Olympics. We got UFC tonight. You said the Red Wings are playing. I mean, big sports weekend. I don't know if we're going to talk mortgages or we're going to talk sports, but I mean, let's do it, man.
I mean, when you're in the studio, we can talk about anything, which is a good thing. We're here to keep it real, keep it hot, keep it exciting. We're going to give you 1 hour real estate, life, goals, sports.
Yeah, it all together.
Whatever you're into.
Make it fun, definitely. Next Home All Pro Realty, Joe. I wanted to get your office out there. And of course, you specialize in all counties. I know you'll sell anything in basically anything in the state of Michigan. So if you are interested in hooking up with a great guy, Joe's here all morning long. He's been on for several times. And Joe, real estate's fun, and I wrote down a couple things to get us kicked off here. I wrote down emotions and expectations, because real estate's fun, but there's a lot of moving parts, the old moving parts bit.
Yeah, it's a strange time, right? First of all, it's cold and gloomy here in Michigan, and I think that kind of gets you down a little bit. And then the market's tough, and we go outside and we go and look at a house, and by the time we're back in our cars and talking to each other about wanting to put an offer in, there's already an offer in, and it gets people upset. It gets people emotional. And the best thing, the best thing I can say at this point is, you really just have to temper that. You have to know what we're going up against. And you have to understand somebody else might want it more than you for one reason or another. Somebody might put a $50,000 above asking on a $150,000 house or something like that. Why? Because in 23 days, they're going to be homeless. They sold their house and they thought 60 days of occupancy was enough, and come to find out it's not. So you have to understand that, and you have to come into it expecting that. And as long as you're having reasonable expectations and we stick with it, we're going to go find you a house. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think that right now, I really empathize for buyers that are in the market right now, because you're not only dealing with buyer fatigue, but it's overall financial fatigue. You have people that we have pre-approved over 60 days ago that we're having to go back and reevaluate because the interest rates have went up so exponentially in a short period of time that now those same individuals might be looking at a payment for the same exact house $190 more. That's affecting everybody, right? You got everything from getting sticker shock at their grocery stores, right? So, but it's all about setting those proper expectations. And when you're with a professional like yourself, right, like Capital Mortgage Funding, you have to be forward thinking, and you can't just leave everyone out there just astray, because it can bring you down really quick. But, our job is to kind of make sure that you're setting those expectations, because guess what? The price of your house just went up, maybe because the interest rates, but guess what? So did your rent. So what are you going to do? Are you going to invest in someone else, or are you going to invest, in yourself? And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, as much as it's frustrating, you got to hang in there and keep to that plan. Definitely, investors have done well in the market, Joe. Flippers have done well in the market, Joe. Everyday people have done great in the market. So everyone wants to own a house. There's nothing no new news there. Definitely in the pandemic spurred these lower interest rates, lit the fire, threw gasoline all over that fire. And sure enough, home values have gone through the roof. We're going to talk about that in our segment when we get into a little bit about the refinancing, cash out equity, using that equity the proper way, Becky, and also about credit scores and things of that nature, getting your offer accepted, Joe. Let's go there a little bit. Joe, that's that fatigue. That's that frustration level. So you got the strong approval letter. You've got a team. I spoke to the listing agent even on a transaction recently. We found out he took less money on a cash offer versus a VA loan. I already ran at VA. It was approved eligible. It's closing in 30 days. In fact, title company would probably not want to close. The sellers probably wouldn't even want to close for 30 days. Why wouldn't a real estate agent really just do that? Is that a better choice to take a cash offer for 10 grand less versus a VA purchase that's already gone through and approved?
Yeah, tell me that. I'm curious about that too.
Yeah,
so is everyone else.
So obviously, the only time that's going to be true is if we expect there to be some flags during an inspection. So the VA and FHA, they do their own inspection. It's just safety, right? They're looking for safety concerns. They generally aren't looking at, oh, the roof has 7 years left on it, so it's no, that's not what they're doing. They're looking for safety concerns. So in other words, this doesn't come up that often, especially today's house has to be move-in ready for most people, right? So in that case, yeah, giving up $10,000 for almost no reason. It's an old school mentality. It's being trained, it's being taught, right? I talk to new agents and they'll say the same thing. Oh, I heard VA's tough. I've never done an FHA deal. They said don't do them. I'm like, why do they get there?
Okay,
Where
so
did that
I'm
come
glad
from?
you brought. I'm glad you said that, right? Because it's a learned mentality, right? This whole like cash is king isn't always the case. I mean, because I just turned a purchase in literally it was 16 days, and the sellers are not ready.
Right.
Not
No
ready.
one's ready to close when we are.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready to go. They're not ready. But guess the same thing would happen if you have a cash offer. So, but they're getting more money because of the financing and this whole like stigma that's starting to be created around VA and FHA again, where they're not as a competitive offer. It's not true. And I know you're a huge component and an advocate for that because at the end of the day, the best offer for your seller is one that's going to close.
And here's the thing. There's two parts to that.
They're all
Number
gonna
one,
close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're all going to close, but like also, I mean, if you can close and you can get top dollar and it's
Right.
best for everyone.
Right.
Joe,
That's
you
what
put
I'm
you on the
saying.
spot
So,
this morning.
You know, the first part is that you've got at the closing table, the title company's bringing a check to the seller. It doesn't matter how the seller is getting that money, cash, VA, FHA, conventional, USDA, you know, name the type of loan, private money. None of this stuff matters. The seller gets a check from the title company no matter what. So that's the first part. So the next part is then why do we love to hurt our veterans? These guys and women go to, you know, serve for our country, potentially put their life on the line, and get a great offer with their VA loan. One of the few benefits that arguably they get when they come home, right? I mean,
Salute to you, Joe. You just said it. All right,
Yep.
so we got it. So any VA
true.
loan should trump any cash offer for sure, right? It should, just be above because they already fought for
at
the
least
country.
be considering it. You know,
There you
I mean,
go.
hey,
They fought for enough to make them fight for this house.
Yeah, hey Becky, you know it's like we're minimizing, and Joe, we're after the fact. Like if I called up the seller and said, "Hey, by the way, we left $5,000. You guys were at the title company, and there was a suitcase full of $5,000 in the back room. Would you guys want to go pick it up?" They would jump in their car and be there in 10 seconds. But when they had the $10,000 offer just 30 days ago, where they could have walked out with a little bit more money, they didn't take it. I don't know. I've only been doing this for a few years, getting in my 31st year coming up. And like I said, Joe, sometimes this industry can even be frustrating on our side, Becky, right?
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes like buyers, even on the, like a frustrating element is, you know, buyers unintentionally self-sabotaging themselves, or you have a person that you're getting a gift from and they're a family member and they're not understanding the things that we need from them. I mean, and another thing is, you know, sometimes our business is forgiving where we can have a situation where I'm closing in 16 days. And then we also have a situation where maybe I'm closing in 31 days because the donor was not giving us the proper documentation. That's something that I can't control. You can't control. I'm trying to lead them to the water, but that shouldn't mean that you as the lender get hung out to dry because you couldn't control an outside party or, you know, for whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, our job is to have that foresight and control what we can control. And, you know, when you're trying to get everyone to there as quickly as possible, if you get there too soon, no one's ready. If you get there a day late, what are you doing, right? So,
And Becky, you hit on it. You made the light bulb go off above my head, and it said, keep in contact with your lender, because, you know, sometimes, like you said, sometimes buyers are being detrimental to themselves. I'm working with somebody now who I worked with a couple of years ago. They decided to step out. They wanted to fix things up so they could get better qualified. So they come back to the table. They've got better credit, but they don't have any more money. So they can't get any more house than they could have gotten 2 years ago. If they would have talked to their lender, they would have known, save the money, don't worry about the credit. Credit didn't matter in this case.
right.
There you go, especially on FHA loans, 580 and above there at Capital Mortgage Funding. And we got all sorts of loans to offer you. We mentioned the VA loans at 0 down, USDA. When we come back, Becky, all of our mortgages, we've got the luxury market handled. If you need a jumbo loan, you got to give us a call, 248-539-9797. We'll be back. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are... I can't even get it out. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. I'm Harvey Freed. She's Becky Ehle, Joe Muck, Next Home All Pro Realty. Joe, always great to have you in the studio. We're making it exciting and fun for home ownership. We got lots to share with you this morning. It's way more interesting than listening to Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski, for sure, Becky. I would say that.
I mean, their outfit, their outfits are flamboyant. I mean, they keep it interesting. I mean, they make figure skating sound exciting.
Well, that's our job here, to make home ownership exciting. When we always talk about some of those crazy things, Joe, like home inspections
and
appraisal.
You could be Johnny Weir.
I'll be Johnny Weir. This coat might actually get me in the club.
I mean, it does have a really nice lining.
Thank you. Did you see the lining on this?
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. 248-539-9797. Joe Muck, a lot of these crazy things going on when you're buying a house. You got to sit down with a professional. It's all strange language to somebody.
It is.
We start talking about appraisals and inspections. Those two things can get complicated pretty quickly, too. And then you start talking about all the different types of inspections and things out there. So always sort of keeping real estate fun. When I was writing the show last night in the outline, it always becomes my theme because then we start writing down these items. The buyer bewares. Joe, what's fun about real estate in today's marketplace?
Oh, my gosh. What's fun? Well, helping people is always fun, honestly.
Yeah.
But, the truth is that it's just exciting. I don't know if fun's the right word, but exciting is the right word, okay? So, because it's like, it's quick right now. You see a house come on the market and you got to get out there. And that's what's really interesting is when I get referred to someone who says they were working with an agent who wasn't showing them houses because it was a waste of their time or something along those lines. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, you might not have all this money to go above asking, so we might have to go see 30 houses instead of 3 or something like that. But guess what? On that 30th house, we're going to get the offer accepted. It's happened time and time again. I can give a lot of examples of a house that went well above asking and they waived all this stuff. I can also give you examples of a first-time home buyer buying a house near downtown Plymouth, like a mile in Plymouth, a mile from downtown, put an offer in. It was listed $265, put an offer in for $260, got it accepted, appraised for $278. I mean, this girl, first time home buyer, she got $18,000, $20,000 in equity before she's even, closed on the house. So I can give you those stories too. So it's kind of like the real news, right? Like as opposed to the fake news.
Yeah, it's about your perspective. What are you going to turn into? Are you going to turn into the positive, or are you tuning into the negative?
What narrative do I want to say? Do I want to talk about how crazy it is out there, how hard it is out there? You're going to have to bring all these things. We're going to have to do all this stuff.
Ooh-hoo.
Or do you want to be realistic and say, hey, it's going to be tough, but we're going to get it done? And anyone who's not showing houses is crazy right now because you don't know what that seller is going to want. We might find that seller who's also a veteran who wants to actually accept a lower VA offer. I've had it happen. I've had people say to me on the listing side, hey, is the buyer, do they have kids? Because my neighbors have kids. I don't know those things,
there you go.
But they care. They're looking for this stuff. They were going to sell the house for $2,500 less if they had kids. You don't know what the seller's really looking for, even when you talk to the listing agent. So go out there, look at those houses, put your offers in. You never know what's going to happen.
I love everything you're saying. I mean, so it's almost like this industry, right? Sometimes it breaks you before it makes you, right? So it's like right when you're about to give up, that's when you turn that corner, and you can make it negative or you can make it exciting, and it's competitive. It's like it makes you want to win, right? So, but the real estate agent that you're working with, they set the tone, the temperature, right? So if you're working with negative Nelly, then you need to move on because you need to be up with a positive Patty because you can, put in 10 offers, but guess what? Maybe that 10th, that house, those 10 houses were not yours because then you just start throwing things. I'm going to throw a rock and see where it lands. Well, no, you need to make sure that you're checking those boxes and you're with real estate professionals that are going to get you to the finish line because everyone's walking around with their pre-approval shanks. But just like real estate agents, not all pieces of paper are equal. Some of them are just, see ya, bye. And it matters who you're working with. And I'm going to work with someone like Joe Muck, who's going to be like, he's out there to win. He's competitive, and he's going to make sure that his buyers, and he has that great communication to make sure that the buyers are in the best position possible, right? You're making those connections. And as weird as it sounds, something as simple as communication is key.
248-539-9797 if you want to buy or sell a house. Give us a call here on the show in our 23rd year, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can reach us all weekend long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I'll definitely be in the office right after the studio, handling some business and stuff. Many offers out there, Joe. They're getting accepted, as you say. You got to be optimistic about it. Joe, some of the people there, their optimism's a little maybe not headed in the right direction. Feel prices will slow this year. Okay, definitely maybe with the market changing up a little bit, but that lack of inventory. Joe, where are these new houses going to come from? Where are they magically going to come from?
Yeah, magic is what we might need. I mean, I think I said I was on the Super Bowl show last year, right? Okay. So I talked about
isn't it weird how it works out like that? I was like, hey.
I got the Rams this year. Who do you got? Who are you taking?
I'll take the Wrangles.
The Rams. Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. We're on record right now. Already talk to me after the show, man. But no, in all seriousness, the last year I was able to talk about Tom Brady 10 Super Bowls, how many houses were on the market. Well, here we are this year, right? There are 3 houses in the Novi School District under $500,000 as of yesterday at 7 p.m. There's 2 in the Northville School District. There's 19 in the Plymouth Canton School District. So it's like. There were, I have a buyer, they need $175,000 or less. They wanted to be in a specific area. And, we were talking, well, maybe we could expand the area. I said, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, the reality is there are actually only 9 in all of Livingston County. Not just the area that you want to be, but all of Livingston County.
Under like 200,000.
That's kind of that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's definitely a competitive market out there right now. There's not a lot of inventory. Where's it going to come from? Well, this misbelief that we're in the off season and we have to wait till spring and we have to wait till summer. So we will see some houses hit the market, but it's not going to be enough. It's the same story I was saying last year.
We
won't have enough. If 100 houses hit the market this Monday, we don't have enough. There's more than 100 buyers out there. And that's why these houses are going so quickly. That's why they're going above asking. It's the classic supply demand. It's like, Econ 101. There are not enough houses and the builders can't build fast enough. Some of the builders are changing their PAs so they can change the price because costs and supplies are going up. All this stuff's going on. The best bet is still residential, existing residential, markets. But there's just not a lot of inventory. Yeah, we need sellers.
And I agree with you because even with the rates, they're saying you're going to see, they're talking about, okay, like what Harvey was just mentioning, it might slow down a little bit. But the reality is what you're just saying. The level of new buyers entering the market with the level of entry-level homes that are there to meet that supply, it's not going to offset. So we are going to continue to see a hugely competitive market for our buyers. So it's important that we make sure that everyone is set up for success because you're going to have to put in sometimes multiple offers before you get that one accepted.
You guys, of course, the last quarter of the year of 2021, single families existing house appreciation 14.6%. Yeah. You want to invest in a house, 14.6% in the last quarter to wrap up last year. That brought the median sales price, Joe, to $361,700. That's the median. Yeah, home prices are really climbing. They talk about wage increases. There's jobs out there. I might need a second job. Everyone needs a second job to keep up with what's going out there in our economy in today's marketplace. And especially if you're a homeowner, you got to definitely be ready to make these overbids and just have that whole concept down. And some of the things I'm hearing from people, again, sit down with your mortgage professional, not clicking buttons. People that are clicking buttons and dealing with strangers. I've talked to some of the biggest bozos recently in mortgages and real estate. So it's buyer beware time out there. How important it is sort of set yourself in front of everyone else, Becky, not just the average person.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because you could type in best mortgage rates and what you're going to get on your search feed is going to be totally different than what I get. Everything is overly saturated with how they're going to the narrative, like you're talking about. What I'm searching for and what you're searching for, we're going to get 2 different answers because everything is dictated based off of what we're seeing. I mean, the fact that I can look at something with my eyes and not even say it out loud and then it shows up on my feed somewhere just still boggles my mind, right? Like that Social Dilemma thing that came out on Netflix. It's real. I mean, and so that's why it's important not to just get your information on the internet. You need to speak to real people and not too many because sometimes if you're talking to 17 people, you're going to get 17 different answers. And again, you're just muddying the water. You need to find out who you trust, who you're going to respect, and then go in that direction because if you speak to enough people, someone's going to tell you what you want to hear, but that's not what you need.
If not now, when are you going to buy this house? 248-539-9797. Joe Muck, it's a very competitive marketplace. Again, 2 years worth of it as we continue into 2022. Investors they're looking to buy them up too.
Gobbling them up. They're taking them.
They'll rent that house back to you if you don't want to buy your own. We'll show you how to get it. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's 9:30 if you're just joining us. February 12, 2020. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's 1-800-569-7283, the best mortgage banker. Why are we the best? Because we offer the best service. All mortgage programs are available, including the Michigan loan, help first-time home buyers. I got a girl actually closing. I don't know if she's going to listen. I've been telling her, I won't say even her name. I'm like, are you going to listen to my show? I give some of this information out through the week, but we're excited. She found a house for $165,000. I told her, as much as her real estate agent had no clue of what he was doing, neither one of the agents did, he got the offer accepted. And on a Mishta loan, and we're basically closing in 40 days. It would have closed a lot sooner
Miracles
than that.
do happen.
Yeah, but you can buy a house at the end of the day, Becky. She's going to even get a little bit of money back because she gave a $2,000 EMD. Mishta loans allow you to basically purchase a house for 1% down. So it's pretty cool. Mishta program here in the state of Michigan. Becky, as you know, $7,500 down payment assistance program if you qualify, and some zip codes have $10,000.
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, because the buyer's market is extremely competitive. And like I said, we were talking in the beginning of the show, we were talking about it's not just buyer fatigue, it's financial fatigue, right? We're coming out of, this pandemic, and all of those reliefs are now going away. Right? You're not seeing those unemployment benefits. You're not going to see those the child care credits. You're not going to see the student loans that were able to be deferred. They're going to start coming due here in May. So now you trickle that with these interest rates that have been moving up, right? It doesn't mean that you have to panic, right? But it's all about pivoting, right? You need to pivot and choose the narrative that's going to suit your needs, right? So if 2020 was hard on everybody. So if that's, but that's not an excuse to not invest in yourself. So that's why these home buyer programs, coming up in 2022 are going to be key. It's about finding the programs that fit for you. Now, these grant programs are also forgivable after, some of them are within 3 years, 5 years, depending on which program you're going to fit in. But again, that's keyword is fit. You have to fit in these boxes to qualify for these programs. And you need to make sure that you're connecting with a professional that can offer these and actually is going to look for these programs for you.
And not shy away from them, right?
Yeah.
I get this all the time. Well, I've already got a lender. Okay, well, what are they doing for you? And then they're like, well, they won't do this and they won't do that. And I'm like, have you tried? Will you just call this person for me? Here, let me send you their information. You don't have to use them, but please have another conversation. It's amazing, similar to the agent that won't show houses, the lender that can do Mishta and can do these things, and they won't because why? It's an extra 1 to 3 days, or it's, one extra phone call.
About 7 extra days, Joe, maybe. Yeah, exactly. You're right on that.
An extra call to an underwriter, easy. Maybe, because they're asking a question about the EMD and, so what?
Joe, it's even easier than that. It really is.
The truth is the wrong lender is going to fumble your loan. They're going to delay the closing, and they're also going to potentially have you leave money on the table in these situations if you do qualify for it, right? And that communication is key. Making that one extra phone call, like you are a huge advocate on even, having people interview you as your agent. You want to make sure that you're the right fit for them. And not all mortgages are cookie cutter. They're not the same. And I'll let you take over because I love when you talk about this. But for example, I had closed. It was a VA buyer. Another lender could not do the loan. They said it was too hard. Now, the fact that the lender reached out to me, I have utmost respect. And they said, hey, I have no idea how you're able to get this loan done. I respect you, do your thing. And the fact that they had, the professionalism to reach out to me, I got nothing but good things to say about them. But I was able to get it done because my mind works differently. I have different access to different things. Our credit scores are different. I mean, so who you work with matters, and we talk about that all the time, but not all lenders are going to fit you.
Yeah, the biggest thing when you work with obviously you guys are huge, right? But when we compare the millions versus the billions, then all of a sudden it doesn't seem like you're as big, right? So when we look at some of these billion-dollar companies that are doing these, big numbers, it's also because, like you said, they're cookie cutter, right? You can talk to, not to say there's not good people that are working for every company. There's always, some good people,
for sure,
right? But at the end of the day, you can hire someone in, train them in a few weeks, and get them on the phones to help, close loans. And they may not know the ins and the outs. The way someone with, some knowledge, I won't even say experience, I'm just going to say knowledge, can actually get it done. It's really important because, like you said, you give a call and they don't know that, they could actually go FHA. Or they might say, hey, just because you have this credit score, you should go FHA, and not realize that they could have gone conventional and actually saved money because maybe the mortgage insurance is lower, or maybe they could put 0.5% down less, or there's so many things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a million different ways you can slice it and dice it, but you do not have to have perfect scores to buy a home in today's market. FHA goes as low as 580. Okay. Not all lenders are going to lend on a 580. Now, FHA says you can do 580, but some lenders have a minimum score of 620. That's their overlay on the standard guideline. We do not have that overlay. We will lend as low as 580 as long as you got a little bit of money. We make some adjustments if we need to, but 580 all day long. I'm doing 2 right now.
We're always looking for exceptions. You know, after the bankruptcy
It's
or
progressive.
after a Chapter 7, how soon can I get back into the housing market? These are all the things you're going to want to have the experts. At least they can find the answers for you and make your life really simple. All right, 248-539-9797. Always talking mortgages and real estate and some great stuff. COVID-19 restrictions back. We had some things going on when the pandemic kicked in 2 years ago, basically coming up on the 2-year anniversary. They put a little bit more paperwork requirements for self-employed people. Those have been removed. That's good news out there. Self-employed people are no longer required to do that year-to-date profit and loss statement. It's an unaudited one back, but it still was an extra step, especially if you own 4 or 5 companies. You just got to have those tax returns done.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, self-employed buyers were put through the ringer as well during COVID because there was no way for the lender to document that the business was still active. Because previous guidelines was, I just looked at your 2020 tax returns. Cool, you qualify. We take your average if needed and yada, yada, right? But they were finding out that if the world isn't working, how are you as a self-employed buyer still working? So they made you prove that your business was still active, and it kind of went on for, a little bit longer than maybe it should have, but that has been lifted. So what that basically means is that you're not going to be going through this rigorous documentation process that you were a couple months, even like maybe 2 weeks ago, actually. So if you're self-employed, don't be discouraged. If you're renting, even if you're a waitress, right? Money is money. It's all about planning. What are your goals? If you're trying to buy a house in 2022, the sooner you start the conversation, we'll get you with someone like Joe Muck, and we're going to get you in a home because that money matters, and you need to start investing in yourself, and that starts with those conversations and focusing on the right things. Sometimes it's the credit, sometimes it's not. You're paying off the wrong card. Speak to us, speak to me. We'll take care of it. We're here to help.
Yeah, self-employed people have access to every mortgage program. And again, there's more self-employed people than W-2 people, they say, in the country. So there you go. Every mortgage program available right here locally in your own backyard. Deal with the professionals. We'll get you hooked up with these great agents like Joe Muck, no doubt about that. And we can go over all the details. Yeah, Joe, predicting costs. Everything's rising. It's called inflation. We got food costs going up, gas at the pump. Utilities have gone up. Everything's gone up. Home prices have gone up. Joe, everything is going up a little bit. We just got to, be prepared and budget a little bit more carefully.
Absolutely. Plan it out. Becky said it. What are your goals? What are your expectations? What do you want to do this year? And start having the conversation, especially if you're not just a run-of-the-mill, I work 40 hours a week and I have an exact salary and that type of thing, because it might take an extra step or two, and that's fine. But have your conversations now, even if you're not thinking about buying until later. And then, as you're saying, Harvey, everything's going up, but it doesn't mean the world's going to end. We're actually having an expectation for prices to continue to increase and mortgage rates to continue to increase. Well, what's that mean? Buy now if you can, because if the home goes up another $15,000 by now in the end of the year, and interest rates go up another 0.5%, man, you have really changed your qualifying possibilities. And even if you qualify, you've changed your payment. So buy if you're ready to buy, and if you're not, then let's start having the conversation.
All right, we're going to go out to our first caller this morning. If you want to join the show, 248-539-9797. Ali, you are live on the ticket. Go ahead.
I was just calling to see about if an FHA loan is the best way to go after a bankruptcy.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Get you in the ballgame. Do you do a Chapter 7?
I believe it was a 13.
Okay, yeah. So if FHA, the good thing about FHA is it's not, it still gives you that same ability to buy homes, but the credit doesn't have to be perfect. They're a little bit more forgiving, like you're talking about with a bankruptcy. So you can do it as little as, 2 years after your discharge, even a day after, so it's really about, kind of assessing your situation and what your goals are. So depending on what your situation particularly is, FHA is going to be probably a great vehicle for you to get into home ownership.
I think it's a great question, Ali. You got the back end ratio is the key. We can really go up to that over 50 back end ratio.
Yeah, you can push it sometimes.
It gets a little funky. And the reason why is we don't want to put someone in that financial position, but usually there's some additional money. Maybe we're just using one of the partners in the transaction. Right. Maybe he's going to rent it out to his brother and he's got some additional cash in there. If it makes sense, FHA will find a way to do the loan. One day after a Chapter 13 discharge, Ali, you can get pre-approved with us at Capital Mortgage. We're going to call you right after the show. What else do you got on there? Are you out there looking for a new house?
I am, but even as self-employed, is it still doable?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, because I've been told the opposite, so I'm just trying to see what my options
What do you,
are, and
Ali?
I stopped up until yeah.
Yeah,
Ali.
that's my point. That's what we were talking about, right? People are, it's about pivoting, and just because someone tells you no, that doesn't, and they don't tell you, you got to understand the ins and outs and why. And sometimes, like like we were just talking about, who you work with matters, and when they're sort of telling you no, that's because maybe they have restrictions, and you got to get in line with us, with other people.
Ali, with that being said, though, I did write under page 2 here, sectional 11 on my notes. I wrote,
Paragraph 2.
Ali, did someone tell you, hey, man, you're self-employed and you don't qualify because you're only showing so much income? That's a little bit different story. Is that the case?
No, it was actually just you're self-employed and
Huh?
can't handle.
Yeah, you want to throw that number
Yeah.
away and get with the pros.
Yep.
We
You
got
know-
your number.
You know what exactly what happened too. Right now, there's so much
Thanks for
business
the call,
out there
Ali.
with, the refi is obviously slowing down, but there's so much business out there that someone probably could do it and said, I'm not going to right now. I don't want to.
That makes my mind explode.
Yeah, we do them all, right? I help people buy and sell $60,000 properties and $600,000 properties. And you know what? I have a smile on my face the whole way because I love helping people and I love getting the job done. And yeah, the check's bigger on the $600,000, but so what? I just want to help. And that's you guys too, right? You want to help. You want to get these things done. You're not going to throw someone away because it's too hard. Get it
All
done.
right, keeping everything in perspective. Boy, when
I
we
like
come
it when
back-
it's hard.
248-539-9797. Keep it here on the ticket. All right, we are back. 9:46. I'm Harvey Freed. She's Becky Alley. She's top 1% of all mortgage originators in the United States. That's a pretty big place, by the way, big country.
Yay.
Speaking about our country and those Olympics, Becky, I became an expert last night on a whole bunch of new events. But a salute out there to our guy up in Iron City.
Yeah, Nick Baumgardner. I hope I'm saying his name right. I was rooting
How
for
about
him
that
last
dude?
night.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's great, repping the 40-year-old bracket, getting Olympic gold. And speaking of getting up there, today's Joe Muck's birthday.
Hey-o. Joe, how old are you today, by the way? You look young.
You never ask a gentleman.
Nah, it's all right. I'm 41.
Yeah, look at him, looking like a baby.
All righty. Good luck, Joe. You got the facial hair and everything. grow me a mustache, Joe. There you go.
Yeah, I'll have a beard if I come back in 2 weeks, man.
All right. All right. You got the Hardcore Mortgage Show here on 97.1 The Ticket. Again, we take your calls live, 248-539-9797. I said earlier, and after, Becky, I'm saying a lot of bad things in between our breaks here. And one of the things I said, if this is the worst thing I said today, is that there's a lot of people in our industry, Becky, that don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry. Did I just say it? I said it again. They just don't. It would be the weirdest thing. It would be like me. I told you, Becky, I'm going to be a country DJ. I'm going to be a DJ down the street here at 99.5. I'm just going to go fill out the application.
They have a great setup, by the way. It's really
it's great.
cool in here.
I'm sort of funny. I know a lot about country music. Not really, but I know more about country music than a lot of the real estate agents know about real estate. So maybe I should be a country star.
I'm an advocate for staying in my lane. But you would be great at, you can do anything. Yeah, you can DJ, you can do whatever. But the thing is that, there are the point is that it goes in line with who you work with matters, right? It's not all cookie cutter. A lot of people got in the game and the training sometimes is not there depending on what agency you're working with, right? Sometimes people are walking in it blindly and, understanding the contract, understanding the verbiage, understanding what you're having your client sign is key. And making sure that if you don't know what you don't know, and I'm not going to hate on someone for that, but when you seek out the answers that you don't know, that's when I have nothing but respect for you.
Amen. Joe, I told the guy, hey, here's my cell phone. Call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I offer that to every single real estate agent on every deal. Call me at 3 in the morning if you want to talk. I'll grab the phone. I'll call you back at 3 the next day. But look, Joe, communication is the key. Why is that so hard?
I don't know. I have a similar policy, except I tell them my phone's on Do Not Disturb when I'm sleeping. So call me. You have a question at 2 in the morning. You can't sleep because you're thinking about, is this going to happen, not going to happen? Shoot me a text. You're not going to wake me up. When I see it at 6 in the morning, I'll reply to you at 7 in the morning, and we'll have a phone call at 8 in the morning once the kids are on the bus and everything like that, right? That's how you do things. It's not hard. And you definitely, to your point, Harvey, the biggest detriment on the real estate side, it takes 40 hours and a test to get your license. But that just means you have your license. That just means you have the little, certificate saying I'm a realtor. It doesn't mean you know anything. And if you go to the wrong places, go to the wrong brokerage, you're not getting trained, it's often where someone's even asking me on the other side, is this right in the PA? Or is this okay? Or what do you want to do? Because they haven't been trained. It's really crazy. I always remember after, I started at a brokerage that did a lot of good training. And I remember 2 weeks into the industry showing someone a house. And the guy says to me, yeah, a friend of mine got their license 6 months ago. They don't know anything like you do. And I'm thinking, cool, because I'm like 2 weeks in. Now, I had some other experience, right? I had a little bit of mortgage experience a long time ago.
You were an old mortgage guy.
Right, I had some information.
Mortgage people are good real estate agents. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, because you know the behind the scenes, so you know what you're walking into. Yeah. You know that not everyone qualifies for the same thing, but everyone will qualify, just maybe not this exact moment.
All right. Well,
so
things are going to contract a little bit and slow down a little bit. People are going to be let go. They're going to have to go back to those other jobs that they did. But okay, everyone's got their license. Deal with people at least you trust. So if you don't know all the ins and outs, communicate. That's all I ask. Communicate. In fact, Joe, when we got in the business, if we screwed something up in the 90s, you were blackballed. You never got another phone call. That was the end of it. If the real estate agent saw your name on an approval letter, it was game over. So, boy, now they're a lot more forgivable again. But, let's talk about what's forgiving. Appreciation, overpaying for houses 2 or 3 years ago. Boy, that's been forgivable. You look like a genius if you bought a house. You didn't have to. If your real estate agent showed you a house and told you it's best to overbid by 20 grand 2 years ago, you might be sitting on another 50, 60,000 in equity. So again, that appreciation covered up a lot of mistakes.
Absolutely. We don't have a crystal ball, but we have an idea of what might happen. We know, statistics, we know data. We're able to look and say, hey, we're not expecting a slowdown this year. It's going to increase, maybe not the 14%, maybe only 8 or 9%. But if it goes up 8%, then that would mean if you went 5% above asking, you still made 3%, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to make money. Now, I would love to make 50%, but that's not realistic. So go with realistic expectations and understand your home's appreciating right now. So don't worry about, if you've got the funds, don't worry about being a little bit over ask. Worry about what the home's really going to be worth and how long you're going to be there, right? You're going to be there 20 years? What do you care?
Yeah.
Who cares what it's worth today or tomorrow? No one, I don't feel good if it goes down, right? But if it did and you're going to be there in 20 years, it's going to go back up. So who cares?
I mean, we're in a pattern, right? And key to like most, if you're going to be truly successful and you can see the patterns, right? And then use those patterns to your benefit. And the average homeowner has, received, if they bought a house over the last several years or last couple years, over $56,000 in equities on average, depending on where you're at. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And then it dips into some of these cash out refis that people are able to get into, right? A lot of people were going to be dealing with some stuff. They got this high interest credit card debt. They're going to raise these short term rates. What does that mean? That means your average interest rate on your credit card is going to go up. So if and then you got 2020, you had the pandemic, you have a lot of things. So there's a lot of homeowners that are in a position where they maybe had to live on their credit cards a little bit because they were laid off, they were furloughed, whatever the case may be. And you need to maybe look at, why the rates are still low, using that asset to get yourself reset. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I actually have a client right now. They were in a similar situation. They couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't find a job that was within their pace grade and all that. So they had to lean on their credit cards a little bit. Well, now they're a little bit over their head. And now we're going to pay all that stuff off. They have one payment. We're dropping them 5 years off their term. They're saving $500 a month. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And you can use this equity to your advantage why these rates are still low.
I'm glad you threw all that out there. Cash out refinance, again, using the equity. Have that conversation with your loan officer. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. No obligation. Learn what you can do and how to use that equity the right way. One other thing I want to throw out there, really got a call from a guy, a young couple, not even married yet, going to be buying a house. They were sick of renting. They were paying $1,350 in rent, moved back home, saved some money. Now they took the class. They took the Michigan class. But one of the best things I got is whether they do that or the Fannie Mae class. They took the Fannie Mae class, which is good for home counseling on lots of different programs. 3% down, no specific income requirement, purchase with just 3% down. Again, we're talking about all these different programs out there. But yesterday he said, Harvey, boy, I learned a lot on that class online. And that's what we're talking about here. Get yourself educated on it. Feel it out, get right people on your team. That's what it's all about. I said earlier in the show, fun, real estate fun. That's what's fun and exciting. Yes, if you get lucky enough to have appreciation, it's a roof over your head too, Beck.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. So home ownership is the way to go. Learn a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of sticker shock, right? I went to the grocery store and my bill was like I don't know, an extra $300 more than what it normally is. And I was like, Jesus, what did I buy?
What'd you get there?
Did I get a gold bar within the apples? It's crazy. I mean, and things are just going to continue to go up. So the point is just, you can't run from it. It's about educating. Budgeting is going to be key. If you had $200 extra after your paychecks, now you might have $100. So we need to look at those situations and see if we can just reset the baseline and let that equity do its job for you. Don't use it as a piggy bank, but if you need a little bit of help, sometimes doing that cash out refinance to reset that overall debt is a good thing.
And let me just add in, because you guys haven't said it, somewhere somebody's listening and going, oh, here we go again. They're doing little percentage down. They're doing cash out refis. It's going to be 2,000, whatever, all over again. Well, the qualifications are way different today
I'm so
than they
glad
were.
you said that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, because I was a proponent at that time saying, guys, we shouldn't be lending all this money to some of these people. And, and sure enough, look what happened. Well, that's not the case today. We're not doing, cash out refi to 110% on a 5-year arm and all this other crazy stuff. And if you don't know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. The point is that we were giving away money to people that, never was going to be able to pay it back.
Right.
That is not the case today.
These are well-qualified mortgages.
Yes. So
well-qualified mortgages.
Call, talk to people that are professional. Let's get it done.
All right, folks. Thank you for listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. You can catch us at Capital Mortgage Funding all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I want to thank Joe Muck for coming in.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's his birthday. Next home, All Pro Realty. Joe Muck, give us a call. We'll set you up with these great real estate agents. There are lots of them out there. And what else? We got Pat Caputo coming up. He'll talk to you about sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.